Hello everyone, welcome to Ansarkari. In this video, we'll continue with the ratio questions and starting with the first question for today. The price of two articles are in the ratio of 4:5. If the piece of the first article is increased by X% and that of the other is decreased by 30%, then the new prices of A and B will be in the ratio 10:7. The value of X is. Now, definitely, they're asking the value of X. This is the question. What is the information that is given to us? So, first we are given two articles. Let us name these articles A and B, since mentioned here. So, price of two articles, the original price we can write here, price is equal to 4:5, the ratio of the price. If the price of the first article is increased by X%, it means that we have dealt with these kind of questions of increase and decrease in the previous videos as well, right? Approximately 4 to 5 videos ago, we discussed these type of questions, that what happens when we increase by a percentage and when we decrease by a percentage. So we'll look upon that and let's come back to the question. If the price of first article is increased by X%, which means that if the price of this article is 4, right? So increase of X% means that X% of 4, or perhaps the price, we are just letting here the price, that is 4, plus 4, that is the original price, because increased by X%, which means that the X% of its original price, we will add it to the actual original price to get the final price. This is the main point that we need to understand here. And that of other is decreased by 30%. So what this will mean is, if the price of the second article is 5, suppose, so we will find out the 30% of 5, and then we will subtract it from 5. That was the original price. So original price means we will subtract the change in price or the decrease that is happening. Decrease of 30%. अब किसका 30%? 30% obviously of the article का जो original price था. That is why we are writing 5 here, and 4 also we are writing 4 here. Because the change, but whenever the change happens, it always happens in the original price of the commodity. So this will be the final price again. So this will be for the article B, and this will be for the article A. Now they are saying the final prices or the new prices of A and B will be there in the ratio. So new prices will be in the ratio 10:7. Now they are asking what is the value of X. So here we need to find out the value of X. So in these type of questions, what we can do is we can take some value by our own self, so that the calculation becomes easier. So what we can do here is we can take this 4 to be equal to rupees 400. And we can take 5 here to be rupees 500. So this is the original cost. Now what they're saying is the increase is of this much, right? Which means 4x divided by 100 plus 400. Oh, sorry, here also I have to write 400 itself since we are taking the cost, right? So it will be 4x plus 400. So this will be the new cost. And then in this, what happens is it will be equal to 500 multiplied by 30 upon 100. And then we'll have to subtract it by 500 itself. So let us bracket. So this becomes 150. So 500 minus 150, which further becomes 350. So this is the final new price that we receive here. Now the ratio is given to us here. So we simply write here 4x plus 400 divided by 350. It should come out to be equal to 10 divided by 7. So what we can write here is we can write here 28x plus 2800, and here we can write 3500. So 28x will be equal to 3,500 minus 28,000, which will further give us 700, right? 200 and then 5 we have here. So x divided to 28, so this will be equal to 100 upon 4. So this will be equal to 25. Therefore, the value of x is equal to 25%. This is the answer. So in this type of question, this is one approach that we can take to find out. So here what happens is, since there is the price mentioned, right? It is mentioned the old price and the new price and it is change in price. Of course, we cannot equate the ratio because the price will be different. The ratio in which they are present, the units will be different, right? So this is the one way by which we can assume the amount and then we can solve further. So I hope this particular part was understood because this was the main part in this particular question, that how do we do this? And then for the next important thing here was that we have to assume the values and then further we can correspond to the question. So this is one way of doing it. So let's continue with the next question. So moving on to the next question. This question says the number of employees are reduced in the ratio 3:2 and the salary of each employee is increased in the ratio 4:5. By doing so, the company saves rupees 12,000. Find the initial expenditure on salary. So here what happens is we just need to identify in the format, like what is important for us. The fact that the number of employees, each employees and the total expenditure and salary or the old new ratio or both are important and in what format should we write them. Now we must remember one thing, whenever these ratios are given to us, we must try to our best levels to write them in the very simple format as it is that they are given. For example, here the ratio of old to new, like whatever thing was old is 3 and whatever thing was new is 2. Like this is the ratio between them. Now, what is it that we are talking about? What is that so-called whatever? So, whatever here is the number of employees. So, here we write number of employees. Then, and the salary of each employee. So, here we write salary of each employees is increased in the ratio 4:5. So we simply write them here. Now what they're asking is, by doing so the company says rupees 12,000. Find the initial expenditure and salary. So to find out the expenditure on salary, to find out the old, we'll have to multiply 4 and 3. Pretty basic, right? जितने एम्प्लॉयज होंगे हर एक की सैलरीज होगी उनको मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे तो टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर निकल जाएगा. अब ये जो हो गया ये पास का केस हो गया. तो पास में इट वाज 12 एंड न्यू इट इज 10. तो जैसे हम रेशियो में भी देख सकते हैं कि डिक्रीज हुआ है, राइट? रेशियो जहाँ पे 12 था वहां से 10 हुआ. तो जो डिफरेंस है इन दोनों का दैट इज 2. प्रिटी ऑब्वियस, प्रिटी बेसिक थिंग. अब ये जो डिफरेंस है इसको वी कैन इक्वेट इट विद रुपीज 12,000. Very simple because they are saying the company saves. Saves by what? Saves by doing the shift from the old composition of the employees and salary to this new shift. कि जो नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज है उनको डिक्रीज कर दिया और सैलरी को इंक्रीज कर दिया. ने ऑब्वियसली सैलरी में कम इंक्रीज हुआ होगा, नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज में ज्यादा डिक्रीज हुआ होगा. इसी वजह से here we have the expense on salary that is reduced. So it just depends on the composition कि वो क्या increase कर रहे हैं, क्या decrease कर रहे हैं, कितना कर रहे हैं. Because salary अगर ज्यादा decrease करे तो obviously they would have to, अगर ज्यादा increase करते हैं तो कम change आता, right? Because they will have to pay more. वो उनका minus होगा. एंड नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज में डिक्रीज कर रहे हैं तो उनका प्रॉफिट है कि कम एम्प्लॉय होंगे. तो इससे भी वी कैन पुट आउट दिस एस्टिमेट एंड सो वी हैव टू मल्टीप्लाई देम. Now, one observation that we have been making since the past questions is whenever there are cases regarding divide and multiply, we do not really have to equate these, right? And also the major cases of multiply and divide, they are in the cases of number of employees, salary, then expenditure on salary itself. So we just need to identify the type and what the question is asking. The question could be about employers and a salary or as well, but the format of the question could be different. And here, this method of multiply and division would not work, right? If the demand of the question is different. So we need to focus upon that part as well, okay, what is actually required. But generally, this is the trend that we have been seeing, and these questions are pretty simpler as well. Moving on further with the question. So this 2 is the change. So to what? 2 units, right? And 2 units, when we compare them with the actual value, that is rupees 12,000. So the value of 1 unit will be equal to rupees 12,000 divided by 2, which will further be equal to rupees 6,000. So this will be our answer, or perhaps 1 unit, not the answer. Now the question that they're asking is, find the initial expenditure on salary. So initial expenditure was this, right? Old or initial. So this was the total expenditure. So this was 12 units. Since we found out the value of 1 unit, we can multiply the 12 units with the value of 1 unit, that is rupees 6,000, which will further be equal to rupees 72,000. Easier question than the past few ones. So I hope you understood this question, and 72,000 is the answer to this particular question. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you understood. Let's discuss in the next video.